This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne Stevenson, and I'm here with Newsload, and I am so beyond excited to be able to interview today Nik Duncan. Hi, Nik.
What's up, Carrie Anne? How you doing?
I'm amazing. I'm so excited to finally speak with you. I guess let's start off. I'd love to know where you were born.
I was born in Jamaica, the northeast side of Jamaica. If you've ever been to Jamaica and you know this place called Ocherias, maybe an hour and a half, keep going east. And that's where I'm from.
Do you get to visit often?
In fact, I was just there last week. Yeah, you see that? Check my tan. Yo, it was a good time, though. It was a good time.
I bet the weather is absolutely gorgeous down there right now, eh?
Yeah, it is. The sun is so hot. Like, prepare. Put on some sunblock. It's a different kind of sun than you'll experience, like in, say, Costa Rica. Make sure you wear your sunblock when you go to Jamaica.
What are the cultural differences that you notice from Canada to Jamaica?
The noise that's in the background while you're just living your life. Like even at night when you're settled down, it might be 10 o'clock at night and you're just chilling, but you don't realize it. You don't really sort of like isolate that there's a sound system playing over there and a sound system playing over there, sound system playing over there. Roosters are crowing. Roosters are, cocks are cocking what they do, right? And all the goats are bleeding. Like, it's all happening. People are talking. And there's so much noise, but it seems to blend into your life. It's not something you even notice. And that's definitely a cultural difference. Here, you say some noise, you're like, shut up! Like everybody gets crazy if you make some noise.
Yeah, so we kind of have a noise pollution thing where, after 10, you got to be quiet.
Yeah, and that's respectful. It is respectful, but that's our culture in Jamaica to just, we don't even use doorbells. We just call people from the gate, It's like, Lillian! We just call them from the gate. That's how we do.
Very streetcar named Desire.
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have sisters. I have brothers, younger, older, and they're my closest friends.
So you're smack dab in the middle, attention seeking and funny.
Yeah, kind of bottom middle. Bottom middle. But one of few boys. Like there's a lot of females in our family, so I'm one of few boys in the family, and that kind of you know how it is. Like your older sisters, your younger sisters, everybody kind of takes care of you and make sure that you're doing the kids. Listen, I'm gonna say something. It's gonna sound away, but I'm gonna say some things. If women weren't in the world to take care of men, I swear we kill ourselves and we just die. Because honestly, like my sisters are like, if it wasn't for them, I don't even know what would have happened to me. So I value them greatly.
And did you find if they were in a bad mood or, grumpy that, you used humor sort of to balance?
I wouldn't say specifically, no, because again, that's one of our cultural things. There's always stories going on when you're gathered around in Jamaica. There's always jokes and laughter. Like one of the things, like when you check the polls and you ask people, what's your favorite thing about Jamaica? Like 9 out of 10 times, the people. And that's a part of our culture as well. So I didn't do anything extra that we don't do in our culture to mitigate a situation or to cheer up or to just live life.
So what attracted you to comedy?
I've always liked comedy, because again, I've always just liked comedy, but I've never done it. It just didn't seem like something I thought I could do or even wanted to do, because I come from music and theater and all that stuff. So one day, somebody just sort of signed me up to a competition, and because I was bragging and boasting because I thought the competition was closed. So I'm going on, man, if I was in competition, that's how I was going on, because I thought there was no chance. But then there was an opening, I got signed up, and I had a week to write, do some stuff, and I did it.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is, eh?
That's exactly right. They called me on it, and I said, okay, I couldn't back down, right? Like I had to do it. So I did what I had to do, and I applied the same kind of discipline that I would have with writing a song or choreographing a dance or, writing a press release, media release. It's the same kind of discipline you would apply to writing a joke.
Absolutely. Focus, get it done. There's so much laziness involved where they think that they can just walk on and be funny and improv it. But the reality is it takes rehearsing. You have to practice, you have to work on it.
Yeah.
And the truth is you need to try several different stages and several different audiences to be able to test out different punchlines, different bits.
Yep, just a whole bunch of different stuff. Try a different way, try a different angle. But yeah, you're right when you talk about laziness in that sense, because the star is the joke, not your personality. Your personality adds to the joke, but the star is the joke. So if you're not writing a joke, what are you doing up there? If you're not dropping a joke, what are you doing up there? So yeah, I believe in work ethic about the joke. You can be lazy on stage if you want physically. You can be lazy on stage if you want as an act. But when it comes to the joke, you can't be lazy.
For sure. That's great advice. That's great advice. Have you dealt with comedians that have had egos and unprofessionalism, and how have you dealt with that?
Yeah, I don't bother with that stuff though. That's a person how they want to be. Like if it's interfering with, my set, or if it's interfering with the group as a whole, or the way that the place is feeling, maybe I might think something about it. But as an individual being themselves, I don't really concern myself with that because that's how that person is. So if it's personal negativity, I would deal with that. I think anybody would deal with that. Like, nobody wants to let themselves be punked off. You really ought to stand up for yourself. So how I would deal with that kind of thing, I always deal with those things the same way. I find this ground where it just kind of feels like this, it just kind of, yeah. And I find that ground. And if this is going on, I just bring them to that ground. Just bring them to that ground. And when we can find that place, then we can talk. And that's what's up.
That's cool. That's really, really cool. When you're on tour, do you have a favorite snack?
I'm not really big on touring yet because I still I'm still doing my thing. I've done some shows. I'm going out of town but I don't know if that's what they call a tour. To me, a tour is like, man, you got stuff lined up, you're banging it, you're rolling, you're calling your lady from the road. And that to me is a tour. So no, but I'm doing other cities. So if that's what you mean by a tour, I guess I'm touring. I don't know. I just have these crazy things in my head. But I like as far as touring goes, the thing I like about the most, I'm gonna put it to you this way. I like people. Simple. I just like people. I think the most resilient of everything on this planet is people. I think the best of things on this planet is people. I think the things that we express are imaginative and crazy, that no other living creature is as dynamic as the human being. That's my absolute favorite thing. So getting into comedy, it's like, I don't even know why I didn't do it before. It's like this. It's so tight. It's a direct engagement with the people, not like a song where you have to wait.
It's an immediate response. If you're not
immediate,
funny, you're gonna know. Absolutely. It's a direct censor. It's a direct response. They think you're funny, they laugh, and you feel it immediately. It's not a video like this where you're getting likes and comments and such, which are nice, no argument about the online presence, but live shows and live audiences, it's magic. The echo of when you say something funny and they laugh, it's
right.
It goes
and you feel that immediately. Yeah, that's I don't know what I can liken that to. Some of my friends liken it to doing coke, but I don't know about that. I do write a joke about not knowing anything about coke. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's a great feeling. It really is immediate, like you said, and there's nothing like comedy. What I like about it right now, it seems to be the only art form. And when I say only art form, because some people don't consider comedy art, and some people would say their art is the greatest. But of art forms go, comedy is making a boast of art. And they are saying there are things that need to be said, perspectives that need to be held, things that people need to hear, and we're going to do our best to put them in jokes because we don't want to bore you with commentary. So if you're not telling jokes, what are you doing up there? So yeah, and I think comedy's got that capability right now to just, as I like to say some things.
Speaking of saying some things, when we had discussed, you had noticed that there's a lot of racism in entertainment and being able to navigate it with humor. How do you feel about that?
Um, Again, comedy is one of the great places to deal with that. But it's so sharp. In other art forms, you can erase it and go back. And when you're testing with an audience, it's the same thing as going back and erasing that paragraph or something when you're going out and testing. And it's like, why didn't that work? Why didn't that work? Here's what I've seen. I don't know what I don't know. And I can imagine what I can imagine. But this is what I've seen. I noticed that there's, I'm going to put it plain. I noticed that oftentimes when white people make a black joke, it's a risk to see whether or not it's going to work. And I sit there and there's this tension that I see sometimes, and it's a real risk. And I think I have an idea why. But then the opposite, when black guys make a white joke, there's a higher percentage that it'll go over. And I've discovered, I'm like looking at that, and I'm thinking to myself, here's the common denominator that I've seen. It's the ones that is your experience. You can take a stereotype and make a joke about it, and you're resting your joke on the stereotype, hoping that it's going to work. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But when it's your experience, it looks like it has a better chance of going over. There's like a legitimacy to it because it's your experience. And I found that when you do a race joke, when it's your experience, you stand a better chance of it going over. And why with black guys? Because that is our experience. We live in a world, I live in a city where I'm lucky if 2 black people show up at my show. So we live in a world where the culture that we see is predominantly white. And that is not a negative. I know some people hear that and they feel away. That is not a negative at all, because I grew up with black, white, Asian, and Indian people in my family and in my blood. So as far as I'm concerned, the way that it looks is just the way that it looks. If you can navigate it with, I'm going to put this, if you can navigate it with sincerity, that's what I'm going to say. Not anger, don't come on with an axe to grind, navigate it with sincerity. Because if you show love to the people, your joke stands a better chance of working than if you're grinding an axe.
Absolutely. And it's about education, like racism is hatred and negative stereotypes and, negative feelings towards another culture. But the reality is, if the people can be educated, if they can be acknowledged and, almost encouraged to ask questions, but also to open up their hearts and their minds to be able to understand that the stereotypes are there, but there are people who are breaking the stereotypes. And I'm curious, what do you think we can do to try and bring more culture into comedy audiences?
Well, see, I'm going back to Jamaica now. What culture? Just show up. Just go to the show. That's all I can say. Just go to the show. You go to the show, then the comedians come. You go to the show, comedians keep coming. More audience keep coming. Just go to the show. Because
do you think maybe being associated with, like, I don't know, let's say a Caribbean grocery store or something, and putting up a poster there and maybe offering 2 free tickets to, their favorite customer, to encourage them to see what it's like and to expose them? Because a lot of the times, getting a babysitter and, like making the hassle to drop $30 a ticket, it doesn't seem valuable to them. But to encourage them with promotion and encouragement and guest spots, ideally being able to bring more culture to the audience. maybe?
Yeah, and all those are great ideas that, marketers, agents, comedians themselves can put into play. And again, there are 100 more ideas that we can put into play as well. And um, all, here's what I would do. I mean, personally, I say if a comedian is good, then people are going to like you if you can get to them. If a comedian is good, people are going to eventually notice you if you can get to them. If a comedian is good, if they're working, if they're growing, if they're increasing and they're dropping jokes, they're getting on the stage and they're being entertained, and the audience can walk away and say, I liked that comedian. If you're that kind of comedian, just get out there. Get up on stage, try your stuff, get out there. DM some people, call some people. You can do lots of things, but you yourself need to get out there. The comedian who is as myself, a Black comedian, I need to get out there. The responsibility is on me, because if I say I'm any good, then I'm gonna come and I'm gonna slay that place. I'm gonna come and I'm gonna rock that stage. That's what I'm gonna come and I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna try to reach you and show you my stuff. That's what I believe needs to be done. So if you think that you got culture to put down, get good. If you got, you know what I'm saying? Get good if you got culture to put down.
Absolutely. Represent. And also maybe possibly, like networking events. I don't know.
Again, thousand ideas. Yo, did you see me drinking some tea earlier? I was like sipping some tea while you were talking. I don't know if that's like gauche or whatever, but I was thirsty.
That's totally fine. Well, Nik, I think that you're an absolute delight. And I know that you're coming to London in July and performing. Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I really am. I've been in London before, but not to perform. I've been there for some music stuff with the college that you guys have down there. What's the college called again?
Fanshawe.
Yeah, did some stuff there, but that was a few years ago. So to come to London, one of my favorite cities, to come to London and perform, and there's going to be a multicultural group of people, but we're going to be, how do I put this? We're going to be expressing, all the people on the stage are going to be expressing their Caribbean culture. Some people say Caribbean, etc. But that's what I'm excited about, that there's going to be multicultural people sitting in the audience. As I'm not even going to say what we used to say, no, they're crazy, but it's going to be great. That's my favorite kind of thing, because I look over to the left and, I see a white dude. I look over to the right and I see, like this Indian lady. I look over to the other side and I see this First Nations man. And I look over there and I see everybody. That's what I like about this show. That's why I'm excited to come to London. Yeah. And I'm going to rock that stage. That's what's up.
Well, we are so excited to have you. How can we follow you on Instagram? What's your...
Nik Duncan comedy, but just Nik. Like, people be like, I like it. Where do I find? And they look at like Nick and they can't find me. It's Nik. Nik Duncan comedy. That's me. Traditional spelling of Duncan, Duncan. So that's where you find me on Instagram. And if you want to holler at me on Facebook, I'm there too. Just Nik Duncan. I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you, and I just love being alive, man. What can I tell you? I'm gonna write some jokes and keep dropping them.
Well, I can't wait to hear them. And one last thing, if you don't mind, if you can say it loud, say it proud. I love Newsload.
I love Newsload. That's word.
Thank you, Nik. I hope you have an amazing day.
You too. Thank you, Carrie Anne.
Bye-bye.
This is the Newsload.